Alright, all praises unto Yahweh Shem Shai. Double honesty unto the elders of GMS. Ownership of us be pushing this truth in sincerity. Right, I wanted to do this video and I'm gonna entitle it "The Irony That Is a Woman." Now, effectively, when you really look at all of the precepts presented here, it also alludes to these effeminate dudes, man. Okay, and that the Most High has pretty much set up a situation where you got the ragtag, bums, if you will, faith-based Israelites that are going to be pushing this truth. In fact, the scripture talks about how uh, um, the Messiah has chosen, damn near the weak things of this world to push forth the word, man. Okay, I'm paraphrasing that scripture a little bit. I can't remember the exact wording of the scripture off the top of my head at this moment in time. But I was pondering upon this situation, and what you got is a situation. You got some dudes out there, okay, within the Negro and Hispanic and Native American community, man, a bunch of woman worshippers, man. Now I know that because, hey, man, look, I'm the first person to call out my own self, man. All right, we were all there, man. Okay, all right, basically living your whole life to appease these women, okay. Right? You want to dress a certain way. You wanna look a certain way. You wanna smell a certain way. Okay, you basically make your whole world about it, man. Your whole existence about that. Okay, and then what that does is that chokes the word. If you even make it that far, because you be dealing with certain dudes in out here within the world, and you're trying to get them, hooked on into or latch on to see. You basically you're filtering in out through the spirit, man. You give them a piece of information, and they'll be butthurt about it, man. And you ain't really dealt with them when the scriptures are like, well, if you are in this thing, man, you really gotta let go of all of those worldly ideas, man. Okay, because like I'm gonna show you within this video, you're gonna find out. Well, the irony is this. Here it is. The men of the Lord, of which I pray for Yahweh Shimei Shai, be one of those men of the Lord. Okay, here it is. You got these individuals right here. Okay, and they didn't have no fame. Okay, inherently no power, rather more. Okay, but really we got the power through the spirit of Yahweh Shimei Shai. We got the power of the word. All right. Inherently, we were regarded as the least upon the face of the earth. But we're going to see within the scriptures, and this is not a bad place to start here, within the book of Wisdom of Solomon, the 5th chapter and the 1st verse. Those are the individuals that the Most High is gonna raise up, man. Okay. In fact, the scripture says within the book of Psalms, the 37th chapter, the meek shall inherit the earth. Okay. When you're thinking about a meek individual, that's not an individual that's a stud. Okay. What's the words that he got out here? A player or some kind of Israelite superstar, man. That's not what comes to mind. What comes to mind is a lowly individual that's just getting by, man. Now here's the irony, because I did say this is the irony. Now we're gonna read the scripture and you're gonna see the irony of these things. Now here it is. You got individuals out there that are hoping to attain that fame. Okay, that are fighting and they're striving to obtain the fame, the power, all of the women and all of that stuff. And the Most High is just going to give it right over to the individuals that was focused about what? The kingdom, man. That was focused about pushing his word, man. See, we make it our lives to push this word, man. Okay? We make it of the most paramount importance for the spirit Yahweh Shimei Shai to push this word. Okay? And in so doing, Yahweh Shimei Shai we're gonna obtain those things which is really corruptible on this side. But when we obtain that incorruptible crown, well, all of those dainty things is going to come attached with that incorruptible crown. Which is the irony of the situation that these Negroes, Hispanics, these weak-minded Negroes, Hispanics, Native Americans, and to coin the term manginas, all right, are trying to attain, man. All right. So it's like a catch-22. But really, when you think about it, it's like, look, if you put off all of those things, the Most High is going to increase you in that facet, man. So, let me get into the scriptures. Not to ramble too much. So, the premise has been set. This is the book of Wisdom of Solomon, the 5th chapter, and the 1st verse. It says, "Then shall the righteous man stand in great boldness." And that's what we're doing, man. Okay? You're standing out there telling Esau, look, you're the wicked. You're going to be destroyed. Okay? The Most High ain't ever been dealing with you people. In fact, when you go into the book of Proverbs, the 16th chapter, and the 4th verse, The scripture says that the Most High has created the wicked for the day of evil. And when you go into the book of Jeremiah, was it the 13th chapter? I think it's the 33rd verse. It pretty much tells you that when Esau's, basically calling themselves the Jews, calling themselves the righteous, the Most High said, can a leopard change his skin? Here it is, I've created you to be the wicked. Now what, you're playing the role of the righteous? That don't make no sense. That's like watching a movie. You got Superman fighting, and that's not really a good example because, they really make that dude Superman out to be a coon. But you think about a protagonist, right? He's playing a movie and there's an antagonist, and an antagonist is gonna play the role of the protagonist halfway through the film. That's all kind of confusion, man. All right, and the Most High hasn't said it so, but really what Esau does, he plays that role so he can deceive you Negroes, Hispanics, Native Americans, and therefore you believe that you are of a lesser stature than you really are. Okay, but we're here to tell you that that's why we stand in great boldness, that you're the greatest people the Most High has ever made. Okay, and not only that, the Most High's company is going to send his son, he's going to redeem his elect. Okay, and all of those perishable goods that you're trying to attain on this side, well, here's the irony. You try to get it here and you get it, well, you're going to lose it very soon, man. However, if you lose it now, okay, if you do away with it, all right, if not the most part of it, hey, the Most High is going to increase you ever abundantly. The scripture talk about how the least shall be as King David, shall be greater than King David was. And King David was a bad dude, man. Okay? And it says, when they shall see it, they shall be troubled with terrible fear, and they shall be amazed at the strangeness of his salvation, so far beyond what they have looked for. And they, repenting and groaning for anguish of spirit, shall say within themselves, this was he whom we had in sometimes in derision, a proverb and a reproach. Okay, now let me just hinge on that statement there, because when you go into the book of Lamentations, let me open up a tab over here. Okay, if we go to the book of Lamentations, I believe it's in around about the 121, something like that. Okay, so Lamentation. Right, book of Lamentations, the first chapter on the 21st verse, and says, and they have heard that I sigh, that there is no comfort to me. All mine enemies have heard my troubles, and they are glad that thou hast done it, that thou wilt bring the day that thou hast called, and they shall be like unto me. So that's not really the one I was looking for. It must be in the second chapter. So it's like, bear with me. Which that's not too bad of a precept, that one. But let's go to the one that's on the point. It's like, just bear with me, it's not scripted. Here we go. Lamentations 2:16 says, all thine enemies have opened their mouth, okay, and against thee they hiss, they gnash the teeth. They say, we have swallowed her up. Certainly this is the day that we look for we have found it, we see it. Okay, and that's what they're saying here, man, in the book of Wisdom of Solomon 5 and around about the halfway through the 3rd verse, and says, they repenting and groaning for anguish of spirit shall say within themselves, this is he whom we had in derision, a proverb and a reproach. And that's what it is, man. To be meek is to be a proverb of reproach. Oh, look at these bumps and all of that, man. Okay. But that's like I was saying, man. That's the irony. That's the irony of it, man. That's the irony of these women. These women, these dudes are running to attain. Well, they're gonna be running to the men of the Lord in that day, because they're all about comfort, man. Okay, all of those riches that are in this world, well, they're gonna be transferred to the men of the Lord. The scripture says how Esau's gonna give these. Not Esau's gonna give him, but the scripture talks about how the saints is gonna take the kingdom, man. Right? That's in the book of was it Daniel, the 2nd chapter, man. Okay. So all of these things that Jake is trying to acquire within this society, well, really, you ain't gonna acquire it. And if you do acquire it, you're gonna have to do a hell of a lot of wickedness to acquire it, to where the Most High is gonna give you, a heavy judgment, man. Okay. So let me read this precept here within the book of 1 Corinthians, the 6th chapter and the 9th verse, and it says, know ye not that the unrighteous shall not inherit the kingdom? Right? Be not deceived, neither fornicators nor idolaters. Okay, nor effeminate. Now I wanted to pull out this precept because it says the word effeminate here, and dealing with the irony that is these women, man. All right, it's that faithlessness, man. See, women like that stuff that's that's tangible, man. Okay, all right. And the word effeminate goes back onto a lack of faith, because for a woman's faith is based on tangible goods, man. Okay, something that she can touch and feel. Okay, she can see and quantify with her eyes, whereas the scripture talks about faith is about stuff that things hopeful, man. Nothing you can't see, man. Okay, and that's how these dudes are, man. They want something that they could touch. That's why the bum thing is such a big unpopular word amidst the adversaries of the men of the Lord, because that's something tangible. Okay, you can say, oh, these are not the men of the Lord. Look at the rubbish garments they're wearing. But see, the wisdom of the Most High, the wisdom that the Yahweh Shimi outside is imparted on those men. You can't quantify that. Okay. Hence the word. Hence the reason why I put up this precept, because it says here, he says no effeminates. So them dudes ain't gonna make. Guess what? Them the women that they're trying to attain by stunting, they're gonna be running after the men of the Lord in that day, man. They're gonna be running after them. Here it is. They're somewhat running after these dudes now, but they kind of they see the power that this word has got. But they're chasing them dudes. But we know the end all be all of this, man. Hence this precept right here, which is the book of Isaiah 4:1, which says, in that day, right, 7 women shall take hold of one man, saying, we shall eat our own bread, we shall wear our own apparel. Only let us be called by thy name to take away our reproach, man. There's another proof. The book of Psalms, the 110th chapter and the 3rd verse, and it says that people shall be willing in the day of thy power. So when the Most High manifests the physical form of this power that Yahweh Shimei Shai has blessed us with, that being the word, okay, when he has a physical manifestation of that, well, guess what, man? They're gonna be willing in that day, man. Okay, they're gonna be willing in that day. Hell, even these effeminate dudes is gonna be willing to get down and understand these scriptures in that day, man. They're gonna be wanting to do that. But see, this is what the scripture says when they're gonna be willing to try and learn that. The scripture says, because I have called and ye refused, and I have stretched out my hand and no man regarded, but ye have set not all of my counsel, I will also laugh at your calamity, and I'll mock when your fear comes. So they're going to be willing, but the Most High is going to reject them. In fact, it goes on to say that. He goes on to say that. I will also laugh at your calamity, I'll mock when your fear cometh, and when your fear cometh the desolation, and your destruction cometh as a whirlwind. When distress and anguish is upon you, then shall they call upon me, but I will not answer. They shall seek me early, but they shall not find me. Okay, so let me finish up on this precept right here within the book of Hosea, the 4th chapter and the 6th verse. Now people are destroyed for a lack of knowledge, because they have rejected knowledge. I will also reject this. You're not rejecting. You're rejecting what we're saying because of how it appears to the eye. But you're actually rejecting. You're also rejecting Yahweh Shimi Al Shai because it doesn't appease your eye. Because why? Because you lack faith. Okay, you need something tangible. Okay, something you can put your finger on. Okay, but see, the Lord doesn't deal with that, man. He deals with the inward, man, the spirit. So we're spiritually, we're spiritually balling right here. Okay, we're spiritually wealthy out here. Okay, but you need that something tangible, and because you're rejecting the word of Yahweh Shimi Al Shai. Because you're rejecting us, well, ultimately you're rejecting the knowledge of Yahweh Shimi Al Shai. And the scripture says, I will also reject thee, that thou shalt be no priest, seeing thou hast forgotten my law, I will also forget thy children. So when you don't be surprised when you see a lot of these dudes out here, okay, that were coming up against the men of the Lord, the Most High take away their children, man. Okay, so with that, I'm going to say, all praise unto Yahweh Shimi Al Shai. Double honors to the apostles of GMS. Hopefully that all, linked in and made some kind of sense. So, and it was of edification. So I'm going to say, all praise unto Yahweh Shimi Al Shai. Double honors to the apostles of GMS. On your brothers will be pushing this truth in sincerity. Shalom.